Meet up close and personal, attorney Victor P. Henderson. Victor will share with us how success and failure can awaken the greatness in us. Welcome to The Greatness in You. I'm Will Horton. Today, our topic is success and failure. Joining me today to talk about success and failure is attorney Victor P. Henderson. Welcome to The Greatness in You, attorney.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Tell me about your early career, your early education and career.
Well, early education, I'm born and raised in New York. I found my way down to Philadelphia, went to the Horton School at the University of Pennsylvania. Then after I got out of Penn, I went to law school at Georgetown. And then I got recruited to come to Chicago by a premier trial law firm about 15, 20 years ago, and fell in love with Chicago and have been here ever since.
I know that you do a lot of pro bono work. Tell me about some of your values.
Well, pro bono work, I think, for me, is rooted in my belief in God, the values that I learned from my mother, my grandmother, my father, the importance of helping others. I think it's especially critical in the black community that each of us reach back, to the people who are coming behind us. I've had, hundreds, if not thousands, of people help me. And so pro bono work really is just an ongoing opportunity for me to try to give a portion back to others that has been given to me.
I have had several judges on the program.
Right.
And several of the judges in private conversations have suggested to me that you should run for a higher political office.
Oh, wow.
Is that news?
Well, I'm flattered to hear it.
What has contributed to your success?
I think any number of things. I mean, I think first and foremost, for me, again, it started at home. My parents were educated. They stressed the importance of education, but then the people in the neighborhood, the scoutmaster, my pastor, the neighbors, the ability to be around strong men, especially strong black men, was critical for me. The opportunity to see other people doing good things. That's one of the great things about Chicago. You have Jim Montgomery, Judge Pincham before he passed, Justice Cousins. I mean, so there's no shortage of role models, for lack of a better term, of people who have, done phenomenal things. And then that, creates the path for the rest of us to follow and do the things that they've done.
We often talk about success, but many of us don't like to talk about failure. Is there a relationship between success and failure?
I think they go hand in hand. It was a term that I learned in law school, which is that the benefit travels with the burden. And I don't know anybody who has succeeded who also hasn't failed, quite a bit. I mean, it's not comfortable to talk about your failures. It's unpleasant at times, and it's not the thing that people see, for example, on a television show. But I mean, I think there's as much, if not more, failure, at least in my experience, that travels with and has come along with the success.
Did you ever have fears of failure?
All the time. And ironically enough, I think there's a concept that the fear of failure motivates a lot of people to succeed. And so a lot of times it's not that people necessarily want to grab onto success, but it's that they don't want to fail. And I know that has been a big part of it for me. I don't want to fail at anything I do.
Many look at you and you're successful. You're prominent judges encouraging you to run for a higher office. What motivated you to succeed?
I think a lot of things. I've read a lot of poems, poetry. Reading newspaper articles. Failure is not pleasant. It's unpleasant. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Tiger Woods. Barack Obama. Again, Jim Montgomery, Judge Pincham. Success is fun. It feels good, and failure is just the opposite. It feels bad, and I've had my share of both. But I think at the end of the day, really for all of us, especially those of us who are in tune with a higher power, God gives us these gifts. And I think in many respects it's sacrilegious for us not to use the gifts that God has given us. We all have unique gifts. And so you take the gifts that God has given you and then you try to use them to your advantage and to the advantage of others so you can, have somewhat of an impact, during our short time here.
We've all experienced some failures in life, but it's not something to fear.
Well, I don't know that I would say, right, you don't want to fear it, and I think the failure oftentimes is the thing that helps teach us more. Mm-hmm. You learn from failure, you learn how to persevere, you learn how to step back, you learn how to look at things a different way. You get courage oftentimes from being in the most difficult circumstances. And I've had more than my share of circumstances that were extraordinarily unpleasant. You know, late night studying, you know, losing a case. And anybody who tells you that they have not failed is either being dishonest, and that's a polite way of putting it, or they've just never tried anything. You know, Barack Obama had a terrible loss. You know, in a congressional race, he ran against Bobby Rush, and you know, to read what the papers say, you know, after that loss, he almost turned away from politics, and look where he is now. So I mean, all of those things, you know, the failures sometimes, I think they also make us humble, and I think it's essential to be humble when you are experiencing success, because if you don't, I think that you may not, you know, approach the success the right way. And so I think the failures are they're just critical. You have to have them. You don't enjoy them, but you know, sunshine and rain, they come together, and the failure is one of the things that goes right along with the success.
So in short, failures are valuable lessons for success.
All the time. It's not pleasant. It's not fun. You don't like to advertise them. You don't want people to know about them. But I don't think there's any way to escape it. You know, you look at the baseball players. I mean, they get to the plate, and you know, a good baseball player is batting 300, which means that 70% of the time they're failing. But you know, the great ones, you know, strike out more than they hit the home runs. But it's the home runs that people remember. But there are a lot of strikeouts and a lot of failure along the way, and that's just part of the process.
We have to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Discover the personal powers that unlock the genius and greatness in you. Will Horton, author of the Wisdom for Greatness series, has written a breakthrough book, The 30 Power Principles, 30 life-changing principles that will help to give birth to your greatness. The 30 Power Principles can help you awaken and bring forth infinite possibilities for happiness, health, success, and greatness. Buy it at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books at 773-445-2400 for free shipping.
The 52 Principles for Successful Living, Keys to Success and Victorious Living by Will Horton, will elevate your mind, lift your spirit, and take you to the pinnacle of success. They provide the key to success. They will connect you to the power of your higher self. Buy it at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books Incorporated at 773-445-2400 for free shipping. The Biblical Success Principles, The Laws and Power of God by Will Horton, is a theology of success. The Biblical Success Principles book and study guide can be used to bring forth God's will and purpose for your life. Buy them at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books Incorporated at 773-445-2400 for free shipping.
For the best in limousine service, ride with a Butler. Call Butler Limousine, 708-758-5466.
Welcome back. We're talking about success and failure with attorney Victor P. Henderson. A strong desire, dogged determination, and an unwavering faith are requisites for success. Number 1, think positive. Positive thoughts strengthen your determination to succeed. Number 2, desire success. A strong desire will point the way to success. Number 3, you can become whatever you desire. Your mind is the master key. Let's hear what some people on the street are saying about today's hot topic.
Success is kind of being happy with yourself. If you can, say by the end of the day that, you tried your best and did whatever you can, then you will be eventually successful in whatever you do.
Failure is an opportunity for success. It's a chance where you can take a step back, look at the things that got you to the position that you're in, and then do what it takes to better yourself to get to the next level. Failure, we look at failure as an opportunity to be better.
My name is Meg Kranczyk. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and you have greatness in you.
We have to take a short break. When we return, we'll learn wisdom for a healthy you.
Will Horton's Power Quotes is a 6-volume collection of power quotes that will get you in the power zone. Volume 1, Power for Dreams. Volume 2, Power for Success. Volume 3, Power for Hopes. Volume 4, Power for Winning. Volume 5, Power for Greatness. Volume 6, Power for Life. Future success awaits those who make the best use of the present, says Horton. Will Horton's Power Quotes, the 6-volume set, is available at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books at 773-445-2400 for free shipping.
Positive Mind Concepts by Will Horton can help awaken the greatness that is within the inner self, the mental and spiritual self. Positive Mind Concepts are mental stimulators and motivators that have the ability to produce an enduring effect on the unconscious mind. Buy the book, Positive Mind Concepts, at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books Incorporated at 773-445-2400. Shipping is free.
The ABCs of Success, A to Z Rules and Action Steps for Success by Will Horton will help give rise to victorious living. They will help you condition your mind for success, keep a positive attitude, get in the success zone, achieve success and victory. Buy it at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books Incorporated at 773-445-2400 for free shipping.
Welcome back. Let's learn wisdom for a healthy you.
Hi, I'm Bruno Cortes. I'm a cardiologist interested in spirituality and medicine. A principle of health I share with my patients is create life goals. What mission are you on? See, we have to ask ourselves questions because questions compels us to look inside ourselves. For instance, what is a driving force in your life? Is it fear, anger, or material goods? Remember that the most important thing in life is your contribution to humanity. You have been given by God talents, and you have to give those talents to the service of others. Then you will experience true happiness, long-lasting happiness.
We have to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to get up close and personal with attorney Victor P. Henderson. Stay with us.
Wisdom Keys for Greatness, Rules of Success for Teens, book and workbook by Will Horton will get you ready for success. Rules of Success for Teens prepares you for future success and greatness. The rule of conduct for tomorrow's success is to prepare for it today. Be ready to board the success train when it stops at your station in life. Buy them at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books at 773-445-2400 for free shipping.
The ABCs of Self-Esteem by Will Horton can be used to help children develop highly effective habits that will lead to happiness and success in life. The ABCs of Self-Esteem was written for families to enhance and build self-esteem in both young and old. Buy the ABCs of Self-Esteem at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books Incorporated at 773-445-2400. Shipping is free.
Martin Luther King Jr. is a Hero, an inspirational book for children from early childhood through middle and late childhood. Martin Luther King Jr. is a Hero will help parents and children better plan their life's journey, aim, and destination. The book will help young children give birth to their dreams. Buy it at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books at 773-445-2400. As always, shipping is free.
Welcome back. I have attorney Victor P. Henderson with me. Attorney Henderson, you had a very humbling experience. Tell me about that experience.
Well, my most humbling experience was losing my mom. I was very close to my mother. My mother was my best friend, and prior to her passing, you know, I'd go to church and hear the pastor talk about you're born one year, you die another, and that dash in between is your life. But I heard it in an intellectual way. And then after losing my mom, I really felt it in a spiritual way, and that experience really has affected me and impacted me in a very, very great way, and has made me more inclined to succeed at whatever I do with whatever time I have left. And again, you know, I think there's nothing like death in many ways to put life into perspective. And so for me, that was the moment where I think things became much more clear and has made me much more aggressive and assertive about doing those things in life that are important to me.
You know, death teaches us a lot. It teaches us to value each day, to make the best of each day, not to waste our lives.
Very much so. And, you know, and I don't like talking about it, and it makes me uncomfortable, but part of, you know, the greatness in you or me or whatever, you know, or all of us, is that you come to various points along the road of life where you recognize that you're either going to grow or you're going to become stagnant. And you get that choice every day. And so I think death is one of those things, especially if you lose a friend or a cousin or, you know, a neighbor. You know, it's a constant reminder that we're on this journey called life, and we do owe it to ourselves to try to get the greatness out of ourselves. As I said earlier, you know, God gives all of us these gifts. And, you know, how would you feel if you gave your kids a gift at Christmas time and they just let it sit on the shelf and didn't use it? I mean, it's a wasted gift. And so I think, you know, we have to use the gifts that God gives us, and death kind of puts that in perspective. We're here for a limited period of time, and use all the gifts and go for the gusto and enjoy each day, you know, as much as humanly possible.
You know, I have a quote in one of my books that says, lost time is worse than lost money. You can lose your money, right, and you can make more money, but you can't make any more time.
You can never get that time back. You know, it's the sands going through the hourglass. I mean, our time is limited. Money is unlimited. You can make money forever in a day, but time you can't get back. Once you lose it, it's gone.
Tell me about your freedom from failure.
Once you get your behind kicked a few times, and once you find yourself picking yourself up off the ground, you're not as afraid to fail. And I've had many difficult experiences. I cannot sit here and tell you that I've passed every test I took. I cannot tell you that every relationship I have, you know, worked out. But I think once you go through the fire, you know, they talk in the Bible, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, you know, in the fire. Once you've been in the fire and you've been burned a few times, and you're not as afraid of being in the fire. You don't want to go there. It's not pleasant. It's not fun. But you recognize that you can get through that experience. And, you know, what do they say? You know, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So you go through the fire, you get burned, and you recognize, hey, you know what, I made it out okay, and I can handle this. And so the next time that something comes along that may seem daunting or overwhelming, you may not be as afraid of going through the experience, recognizing that you can go through it and come out and do well.
Talk to me about what's important, those significant factors in your life.
Well, I think that as you go along your journey in life, as I have gone along my journey, things have become more clear. You know, my grandmother and mother and father, you know, said, keep God first. Now, you know, when I was 10, 15, 20, I kind of heard it. But, you know, you get into your 30s and you get into your 40s and you go through things and you recognize that really is true. So you keep God first. You take care of your family, because those will be the people around you when time comes. You know, they will be there right around you to walk you through the hard times. And so you know who your friends are, you learn who they're not. And during difficult times, you really will see who is most important to you.
What has contributed most to your success?
Oh, wow, that's a tough one. Any number of things. I don't know in any particular order. I think first and foremost, I start with my parents, the values they taught me, getting to church, believing in God. And again, things that I resisted when I was younger, things I didn't want to do. So now I'm in the position of making my kids go to church the same way that my parents made me go when I didn't want to go. Being persevering. Being willing to understand that failure does come with success. I think it's also critical to surround yourself with people who have done extraordinarily well. Birds of a feather flock together. If you want to do well, then be around those people who are doing the things that you want to do. And watch them. And so Chicago again is a great place. There's so many people who have done well, especially in my profession, so many phenomenal black lawyers, judges and lawyers and, even bailiffs and court reporters and all of them, striving for excellence. And so you watch how they do things and then you can take a page out of their book and try to emulate it and do well yourself.
Why are some people afraid to fail?
I don't spend a lot of time around people who are afraid to fail. I think that the difference really is an attitude. There are these poems that talk about the difference really between failure and success is attitude. And I think that the people who find themselves failing more have not just embraced the fact that failing is part of the game, and maybe they're not spending enough time around people who are successful, because the successful people will tell you, at least the ones that I know, that they failed many a time. The prominent lawyers and judges, again, in my profession, they've all fallen. They've all taken hits. They've all, been down and been out. But it's that will to succeed, to get up again. So if you fall 5 times, get up 6 times. If you fall 8 times, get up 9 times. So it's not really about how many times you fall, it's about how many times you get up. And I think that's the difference. So, anybody who's in the game will tell you that they're going to fail. That's just a part of it.
You've had many successes, though. In addition to being a very successful lawyer, you've hosted 2 television shows.
I have.
And I hope you continue to sit over there instead of here.
And I'm right. Well, actually, your chair is looking pretty good, right? So yeah, and that's something that I'm going to stay at. And I've had some great successes there. But the TV is a hard business, as you know.
Right.
The things that you're doing are fantastic. But it's important. If you see something that you want, you have to persevere. You have to go after it. You have to make it happen, recognizing that there are going to be obstacles in your path all along the way. And you can either look at the obstacles and say, hey, I can't get around them, or alternatively, it's like, hey, well, how do I get around it? Who can help me? What do I need to do? Step back, go around, go over the top. But the bottom line is you get up every day. Johnny Cochran told this great story about, and I don't want to butcher it, but it was about I think a cheetah and an antelope or something like that. And the bottom line was, he said they're both out in the jungle. But he said it didn't matter which one, whether you were the antelope or the cheetah, you had to get up each day running, because the cheetah needed to catch the antelope to eat, and the antelope needed to run away from the cheetah to keep from getting eaten. So either way, you're in the jungle, and it's a race every day. So it doesn't matter which one you are, you got to keep pushing.
Love it. Attorney Henderson has much more to share with us. When we come back, we're going to find out what life lessons he's learned.
The Success Library, Wisdom for Greatness, Power Quotes by Great African Americans and Africans, edited by Will Horton, is a 7-volume set of power quotations that inspire, motivate, and empower you. Volume 1, Empowering Thoughts on Success and Winning. Volume 2, Empowering Thoughts on the Mind and Your Mental Powers. Volume 3, Empowering Thoughts on the Self and Your Abilities. Volume 4, Empowering Thoughts on the Family. Volume 5, Empowering Thoughts on Life. Volume 6, Empowering Thoughts on Love and Happiness. Volume 7, Empowering Thoughts on Race and Culture. Buy the 7-book series at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books Incorporated at 773-445-2400 for a 50% discount on this series. Shipping is free.
Wisdom Keys, Great Proverbs and Sayings by Will Horton is a 4-book collection of timeless proverbs and sayings that provide sage advice and guidance for successful living. They are a fountain of knowledge that will inspire, motivate, and empower you to achieve greatness. Book 1, Ability to Extraordinary. Book 2, Failure to Knowledge. Book 3, Lack to Purpose. Book 4, Quarrel to You. Will Horton's proverbs and sayings are rules of conduct for successful living. Buy the 4-book set at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books at 773-445-2400. Shipping is free.
Welcome back. We're talking about success and failure with attorney Victor P. Henderson. What are some life lessons you've learned, attorney?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is just don't give up. You have to persevere. You have to have dogged determination. My mother called it stick-to-itiveness. You just don't give up. Don't let anybody discourage you. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it. Now, mind you have to be realistic about things. But oftentimes the difference between success and failure is hard work. It's attitude. It's perseverance. So you have to see it. I think another lesson is you got to see it to believe it. People say that you have to see it in your mind. You have to envision yourself on stage, or envision yourself in the courtroom, or see yourself on the basketball court, or see yourself on the football field. And don't let anybody tell you that you can't get there. See yourself sitting as a television host. And you see it, and then get to the people who've done it and ask them how they did it, and ask them how did they get from point A to point B, and listen to what they have to say. I do that all the time. I love to sit with people who are further down the road than I am, and sometimes people who are behind me, and say, well, what did you do and how did you get there? Chicago, again, is a great town. I think people will give you their time if you ask them for it, and they'll share the secrets. And it's not easy to execute, but you still have to understand what you need to do before you can start to try to do it.
You know, many see the successes, but they don't see the failures and all of the hard work.
You and I had a chance to talk offset. I remember hearing about Dennis Rodman, for example. He'd play 48 minutes for the Bulls, but then after, the game was over, he'd go back in the locker room and ride a bike for an hour. Larry Bird and Michael Jordan, you'd see them shoot 90% of their free throws, but what you didn't see was them spending 2, 3, 4 hours in the gym shooting 500 or 1,000 free throws, such that when it was game time, they could get on stage and make it. You see the lawyer in the courtroom. What you don't see him is in his office, reading the books and reading a case that doesn't make sense. And reading. So, a lot of the success, I think, or the preparation for success happens off stage, and people don't see that. So you can't get fooled by what you just see on the screen. You have to embrace the fact that there was a lot of hard work that had to go into it to get there.
Great advice, Attorney Henderson. Thanks for sharing. And thank you for joining us on The Greatness in You. I look forward to meeting you one day and hearing about your journey to success and greatness. Remember, you have greatness in you.
This has been a W. Horton production.